Welcome back to Boring Reviews.
Boring land.
Oh, just kidding.
Blasphemer!
All
Hello,
right.
Boring Review Nation!
Kind of pointless.
We know all things. Hello, Boring Review Nation! Gabe!
Nick, and it's so good to hear that, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm glad to be back, bro. I'm telling you, I was feeding. I was like, you know what I mean? Oh, man. I on vacation, obviously, out of town, guys, and I missed it so much. And then, dude, I'm so addicted, no joke. I find myself on my phone, like at the beach. Like, come on, West Indies, really? Dude, you know what I'm saying, bro? It's like,
Hey,
you can't make it up.
You might
can't
have a
make it up.
problem, my friend. You might have a problem.
2 draws, bro. We'll talk about that later. But I'm like, come on the beach, enjoying the white sandy beaches of Manhattan Beach. But it's glad to be back. My man Nick holding it down while I was gone. Great work, my friend. Just let everybody know what we're going to be reacting to today.
So we are checking out a trailer, and this is interesting. It's for a movie called Rocketry. And the trailer's been out for about a day and a half, so we apologize for being late to it. This is called Rocketry, The Nambi Effect. And this is an upcoming Indian biographical drama film based on the life of Nambi Narayanan, a former scientist and aerospace engineer of the Indian Space Research Organization who was accused of espionage.
Oh,
This is directed and written by Madhavan, and it stars Madhavan, which is pretty crazy. He's in his own film, and Simran Bagga, just to name a few. And so this is a trailer that's really interesting because, from my understanding, they released a trailer in Hindi or whatever the language this film was recorded, and then also in English. So this trailer we're going to react to is the English trailer because that's the language we speak. There's subtitles, I'm pretty sure, but we're not going to need it since it's in English. But excited to check this out. I'm not going to say I'm a huge space nerd, but I've always had a fascination with aerospace and NASA ever since I was a kid. I should be rocking my NASA jacket right now, but my house is super warm, so I'm not going to be doing that. But Gabe, I'm excited for this. And espionage, I mean, how many, like, I know it's not NASA, it's the Indian Space Organization, but how many astronauts are involved in espionage, for crying out loud?
bro, you know what's crazy? I think that's probably the most the thing I'm most curious about this film, because it's actually here a big thing here in the States where there have been, and we're talking about real life, you know, a lot of guys that have been convicted of espionage. We've had some defectors that have left America, gone to like North Korea and other places. You know, I would say not a defector, but probably the biggest one who was charged under the Espionage Act was Edward Snowden, who's currently in Russia. Now, I don't know if what he did was espionage, but that's what they charged him with. But it's so interesting and fascinating. And I don't know, I mean, for those people who study American history, we had a thing back in, what was it, I want to say it's the 1940s, the McCarthy trials, where they were accusing everybody of being a commie, and people were like turning in their neighbors and stuff like, yep, he's a commie, turning in business rivals, yep, he's a commie, he's reading this, he's reading that, yep, he's a commie. And it was just like the Red Scare. So it must have been the 50s, right? Because it was after
50s, yeah.
After World War II, and that was the big scare, the commie takeover, and the McCarthy trials. Like, people were getting you know, with no evidence really, that were just getting accused of being spies and communist sympathizers, and some of them went to jail. A couple people died. It's crazy, man. So it's always interesting to me to see the history that at least America has had with the whole espionage thing. And I mean, I tell you what, here's the biggest thing. I think that right now, especially in the day and age we are, espionage is completely different than what it was back then. Right now, it could be as simple as you know, opening up the wrong email. You know what I mean? That's it. Somebody's got access to your system, so you may not even done it on purpose. Back in the day, it was like somebody gets to you, you know, you're in a seedy bar in the back somewhere, smoke-filled room, somebody slides you an envelope, and you slide them another envelope or suitcase. Here's the information. You know what I mean? That's like, but that, to me, that's espionage. You're knowingly doing so. But if you get catfish because you think, you know, some chick name, I don't know, let's for a lack of a better name, say Karen, sends you an email like from, I don't know, one of those sites or whatnot, but you don't know it's actually a Russian hacker or, you know what I mean, some other foreign power, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble, man. And it's so, bro, I'm so leery to open up some emails, especially since I'm always winning something. Is it just me, or do you also relate it to some Nigerian prince who's trying to?
According to the emails, I'm the luckiest guy in the entire world. I've won so many different gift cards and whatnot. The crazy thing is, for people that have like computer skills, like hacking skills, I don't know because I've never had this before, but I'm just imagining you get a job from someone online, like, hey, I want you to get some information from this person's computer for us. We'll pay you $1,000 or whatever. You do it. You might be involved in espionage because you have no idea who that's coming from. So it's really crazy. We're going to go ahead and jump into this reaction right now. Don't forget, please, to like and subscribe to support the channel. We appreciate it. Let us know your thoughts after we're done with the reaction. And we'll get this started in 3, 2, 1.
I hope all this grand preparation is worth the outcome.
If you think this is such a futile exercise,
that's okay.
Why are you even
That's
here?
okay, baby.
I'm here because what happened to me should never happen to anybody else in this country.
Oh, wow. So is it him telling his story? I just thought he was a writer, director,
Said it's
star.
such an honor to meet you.
Oh, it's an honor to meet you too, Nambi.
You know what this guy first said when he landed on the moon?
One small step for man, one giant leap.
No.
What he actually said was, "Holy shit, how the hell do I get back?"
Not too funny.
We need to use these rockets to launch satellites commercially.
What they're asking for is impossible.
In the years to come, every nation will be vying for this trillion-dollar market.
This is NASA, Mr. Nambi. The most coveted playground for any scientist worth his salt. I trust to understand what an honor this is.
They're trying to poach my best man again.
Start training your replacements from tomorrow.
Sir, I can't do that. I don't have the time. If you don't like the way I'm working, then I'm happy to resign right away.
India ke pulla.
Getting a NASA fellowship in 3 months is pretty big by itself. You must be the real deal, Nambi.
Sir, everybody thinks the engine failed because of me, but the truth of the matter is I failed because of you.
Oh, take that.
Give us the hydraulic plant and all the equipment.
What you're asking for is £400 million worth of equipment.
I know as a nation we can't afford to pay you a dime, but we'll forever be indebted to you. Can you promise that the engines will be delivered on time?
I cannot promise that we will even be alive 2 hours later.
Could humanity have been better served if you worked at NASA? There should be a photograph of you in the Oxford Dictionary, right next to the definition of the word patriotism.
Jeez, this looks crazy.
You cannot betray this country.
Tell me what needs to be done to get you out of here, to right this wrong.
This country may have given up on the likes of me, but I cannot and will not give up on them. I'm not here to get a character certification from you guys, nor am I here to win a popularity contest. We are here on a mission.
Stop the engine! Stop! There's no time!
It's time for you to take us to the stars.
What do you take me for? I'm a rocket scientist. How many people like me? How many, Mr. Khan? Fools who've been victims of their own patriotism. I will fight.
All right. So obviously I made a huge mistake by thinking that was the actual guy. No, that's just the actor with the makeup. So that was kind of cool. Matt Haven's the writer, director, and star. I'm assuming that main guy right there. And SRK, from my understanding, Gabe, he's just like a little cameo, you know, to kind of bring some realism to like that type of interview. Like, hey, what's going on? But I don't think he's a main cog in this film. If he was, he would have been the first name there on the starring list. But this is obviously a very interesting looking film. I'm very curious on still why he was accused of espionage. Was it because he was trying to ask for money for or trying to work with different countries to get this rocket going on and people assume that he was in there for other things? Is it because he was naive to some things and whatever? It talked about his patriotism was the main reason. Did he take that so far of trying to get India on the map that he was willing to break rules and this or that to get there. We'll have to see if we check out the film. But it looks like obviously it's got to be some kind of labor of love type project for this guy. I'm going to look more into what his career is like because, yeah, he is the guy that plays Nambi, but it's pretty cool that he's writing, he's directing, and he's starring in it. What did you think about that trailer?
Bro, I mean, I'll be honest, and I think that sometimes this is our differences. When you say if we watch it, bro, this is a must for me. This is a must. Just I got chills when I picked up my hands, and I love these kind of biopics where, for instance, one of my favorite movies of all time, I own it on Apple, is JFK. I could watch that movie, Oliver Stone's JFK, over and over and over again. You know, those real life situations and how things played out. And of course, that's a little different. It's about the assassination of John F. Kennedy and actually the investigation afterwards. Jim Garrison, he was the only person to, you know, bring an actual trial, a case against one of the co-conspirators not named Oswald, and that to me was so fascinating. And to me, this is fascinating because it's, you know, based on a true story, historic fact. And I've watched like Apollo 13 and I've watched a lot of these other American films. And normally what you hear is America and Russia, right? That was a space race, America and Russia. And I forget the one about, what's the one where, I mean, here's the reality. America and Russia both got Berman engineers to come over and run our space programs and whatnot. And it was a similar thing where Russians ended up getting Sputnik into space first and then getting, you know, I think it's Yuri Gagarin, first man in space. And then they kind of like backed off on like, okay, we've shown our superiority, but it sounds like Nambi had the same issue. They didn't want to fund it. They didn't want to keep funding it. And America kept funding their program and eventually got Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, you know, on the moon, right? So it was about a funding issue, and I see that's the same thing here. I'm thinking that because they're mentioning NASA, that why they're calling him a spy is because he went to go work with NASA to continue his research. Because if you're not going to fund me, I know I can get this done, but I need the proper funding. And in his eyes, he's trying to be I'm assuming if he gets this or accomplishes this, then it's a big win for India, right? Because he's like the top either engineer or whoever, rocket engineer who ended up getting this done. But it's America getting the glory, not India. Does that make sense? And I think maybe that's where they're saying, you know, his patriotism, in his eyes, he was doing it for India. He wanted to be the first Indian to be up there, but America got the recognition. And you know what? I had no idea India was involved in the space race. You know what I'm saying? So that's to the point of the film, like, you know, he was wrong, and obviously India was wrong, because if he was a big part of the story, that should be better known. All we know about, of course, is a German scientist, and that came over after World War II. And man, I'm super excited. I love these kind of films, man. These historic films. J. Edgar Hoover, I saw that one with Leonardo.
That was bad.
That was, dude. And I'm telling you, it was a bad film, but it was still so interesting. And bro, because fact is sometimes. The Aviator, that's another one, right? Another biopic. Mm-hmm. Sometimes fact is stranger than fiction. What really happens, you know what I'm saying, dude? And like I said, I got chills when I was watching. I was like, oh, I gotta watch this. I gotta watch this, man. I'm super excited for it.
Some of the performances from the minor characters just in that trailer kind of took me out of it a little bit. I'm very interested though in the timeline for this, because he's sitting there and he looks pretty young, talking to whoever those people were, Americans or whatever, and quoting the famous Neil Armstrong line. So that would let me know that he's getting into it after America already landed on the moon, but he wants to put India on the map. So I'm really interested. I'm not sure if he was involved with the groundbreaking part, but he probably saw like, hey, I can make the rocket much better and much more efficient. Let me do my job. It'll be really interesting to find out. Let us know what you guys think about this. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this reaction. And, you know, this is a situation where I'm interested. I'm more interested in the scandal part of it and the rocket science. Let me correct myself earlier when I said an astronaut espionage. This is a rocket scientist with espionage, so a little bit different there. But with all that being said, don't forget to come back for a video next time. And until next time,
We know all things.